All right. Your reactions, obviously, this was a clean sweep for you, it seems.
Well, it's a 6-lap win for Solidarity, but not only for Solidarity, also for justice. Not only for justice, definitely also for the taxpayer. We welcome this specific judgment, but it is a pity that we had to come to court for this kind of case. It's a bad day for South Africa if high-ranking officials come to court to try to defend their unlawful action. It was clearly unlawful. We've seen it in the judgment as well. He came here and tried to argue technical points to try to justify the specific unlawful action. Although this is a definite victory, this is not the end of the road. The fact of the matter is there was clear and lawful representations made. And that boils down to fraud. And fraud is a criminal activity. And we will definitely continue with the criminal case as well. The Director of Public Prosecution already indicated that the Hawks will investigate this specific case. They did that under oath. Solidarity will keep them to their oath, and we will, within the next 2 weeks, do representations to the Hawk to give substance to the criminal activities as well. So most probably, we will see Mr. Molefe in court again, but I think this time it will be on the first floor at the criminal court.
You've heard this lawyer saying that he wants to serve the nation. He's still interested in saving the state. What's your take on that?
He served himself, and that came out here. He used the instruments of the nation to enrich himself. There's no place for corrupt individuals that make themselves guilty of unlawful actions in the public sphere. And the taxpayers must come out much, much clearer. They must revolt against this kind of individuals so that we can clean that public environment, so that we can know that taxpayers' money is used in the right and proper way.
But is it just Mr. Molefe? I mean, do you feel that Eskom or Lynn Brown has a case to answer here?
It's much broader than Mr. Molefe. Mr. Molefe, of course, in the middle, in the center of the controversy. But if we continue the next phase, and if it comes down to specifically criminal activities as well, those misrepresentations was broader than only Mr. Molefe. That also implicates the top management of Eskom. It implicates the minister, although she at this stage say, no, I did not know anything. And unfortunately, it also implicates the pension fund. And that is why we've decided to go broader on the criminal side than only Mr. Molefe.
When you say you go broader, who are you going at? Some of the board members that were there at the time, your Ben Ngubane, Dr. Ben Ngubane, the likes?
The fact of the matter is there was a meeting. In that specific meeting, there was decisions was made, and that meeting's minutes shows there was misrepresentations made. And the fact of the matter is all that was involved in the meeting that made the decision to actually pay out that pension fund, that people all must come and explain themselves. But unfortunately, the pension fund itself, also the board of the pension fund in court said that they did not what they were supposed to do, and therefore they must also bring to account.
We understand there's the inquiry in Parliament, and there's also the state of capture inquiry that is also going to look into these matters. Certainly, it was the reason that Brian Molefe, resigned to begin with. So, don't you want to give these processes a chance first before going ahead with prosecution?
Unfortunately, or fortunately, the South African law does not work like that. An investigation on state capture is welcome. We support that in full. We have 7,000 members in Eskom that is awaiting for that specific investigation. We sit here with a court proceeding. We are quite glad about the fact that he must pay back. But neither the investigation nor this court proceeding nullified criminal proceedings. Fraud must be brought to court in a criminal way. And that is how South African law works. There's no way that any other investigation can nullify that. So we had a prima facie case on criminal activities. The Director of Public Prosecutors said under oath in his papers, this court papers, that they will investigate. That actually said, oh yes, we have a prima facie case. That confirmed that. But the judgment of this morning paved the way quite clearly then to continue with that criminal activities. And it's not necessary to wait.
Can we just eet in Afrikaans?